Welcome back to Med Talk. I'm Gabriel Ferreira.
And I'm Catalina Abreu.
In this episode, we're going to take a little bit more of a different approach, especially since we just started our first week of college. And so we want to talk a little bit more personally about ourselves, but not only that, also go more in depth about what it means to really start college, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely with the past 12 years of grade school, and now we're entering this new chapter, what feels like a million years of university.
Yeah, more school.
Yeah, it's definitely been a really exciting new point in our lives to start. It's a lot is involved in.
Yeah. So leading up to college, how did that feel for you, transitioning from high school to college, and what did you end up doing for you to succeed in that sense?
So before junior year, it felt like a really daunting task. I was like alone in the sense that no one in my family had done this in this day and age because I'm the firstborn. And so I didn't know what to do. But in my junior year, right before my junior year of high school, my parents hired a college mentor. Anne-Marie was her name. And she was like a guardian angel to me. She pretty much guided everything that I had to do and taught me how to do everything as well. She, showed me all the different strategies for applying, how to take the SAT properly and get a higher score. She reviewed my application, which was super helpful because you don't know what colleges are looking for 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And then when it came down to deciding between two universities, you and Anne-Marie helped me with creating a pros and cons list to really weigh out what logically made more sense to go to school to.
How did that feel leading up to that point where you had to choose between two colleges? What made you want to choose one college over the other, and how did that pros and cons list truly help you decide that's the college that was best fit for you?
Yeah, I before the pros and cons list, I felt very overwhelmed. But then, I mean, I'm sure you remember, I was constantly like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do.
You were all over the place.
Yeah, and after like what it felt like for 2 weeks maybe of that pros and cons list, it made me logically decide that I wanted to go to a smaller university, which is where I'm at right now. And it helps with pre-meds, at least in my opinion, because you need connections to get into medical school.
You get more direct contact with your professors.
Yeah, and not just that, you also get more opportunities and more doors open to you. My dad said to me, if you go to that other university, you're a small fish in a big ocean. But if you go to the university that I chose, you're a big fish in a small pond. So I think that really guided my decision.
That's good.
And what did you do? What was it like for you?
What I did? Okay, I mean, if we're going as far back as junior year, I didn't really think too much about college. I can't lie. I mean, obviously, I wanted to go to college. It's not like I just wanted to be by myself, really. But I guess I really started getting more honed into what did I really want to do, because I knew that what I was currently doing in high school, I really didn't have much interest in, and so that I knew I didn't want to like progress with that. I'm speaking about music, but eventually, like I talked about a couple like the last episode or the previous episode before, episode 1, I talked about how I wanted to do med or something med related, and that's when I just started really just focusing and just really trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So what I did was, eventually senior year came, I applied to a bunch of different colleges, and I knew that a lot of the ones that I was applying for, I didn't even end up wanting to be part of anyways, because it was like, it didn't make sense for me with who I am and what in this current situation that I was in. So I was kind of just delaying the inevitable for me, really, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, on one hand, it's like I already knew, but the problem was I was afraid to act on it. And that eventually it took a longer time than it should have for me to eventually get to the point where I'm at now. So as soon as I finished graduating high school, eventually I confirmed my attendance that I want to go to FAU. And by that point, I already knew that I had to start focusing and just making sure that I had registered everything that I needed, because the process, like as soon as you finish like registering for that college, it's like there's a lot like to go into. Like it took a while for me to finish everything. It's not a quick process. Like for college applications, like that's not quick at all. This isn't quick either. But I think in that sense, it definitely taught me to be more critical on myself and be more disciplined in that sense, because I couldn't be as carefree, I guess is the best way to say it. I couldn't be as carefree in high school as I can be in college. I think a big indicator of that was when it was for one of the colleges I applied to. I'd actually gotten a massive scholarship. It was a private university, keep in mind, but it was the dean scholarship over there. And I saw it around June, and that tore me up. I can't lie, because it was like it was an opportunity for me, but unfortunately, I didn't act on it because I didn't check an email that I got in February, and I was checking months later. They said I still had time to go to the college, but at that point, it didn't make sense for me anyway, so I just moved on from it. But I really took that as a lesson with my habits. My habits, I think, were really, it was inconsistent in high school, and I really wanted to shape up who I was going into college. So what I started doing is I started being more critical on myself. I started talking to my academic advisor and just trying to she was pretty much my Anne-Marie, and just guiding me with what classes I need to take and what I can do to further gain experience. And so it was a long process, I can't lie. Like, the last week before college started is when I for sure like applied to all the classes that I wanted to take. Even though it took like months, I eventually got to it, and I'm glad I'm finally at the position where I'm at currently. But did you have to fix any of your habits, or like how did you develop good habits going into college? Because that's probably like one of the biggest things, so that you don't mess up.
Definitely. You know, Emery.
Yeah.
she taught me a lot.
Yeah.
She would make me send her an email each week to make sure that I was checking my emails.
Yeah.
Which helped a lot. I opened all my emails. And so, not just that, she taught me different strategies for, registering for the classes, like you said. So I was able to do that pretty early on. And then she also connected me with an academic advisor. Anne-Marie got in contact with the college's the medical school's dean, I guess.
The dean?
Yeah, the person who reviews all the applications for the medical school, which is kind of a really good connection to have, seeing as I'm pre-med. So I was actually able to speak on the phone with her and ask her all the questions I had about the university. So another big thing is self-advocating. I think that communicating to your advisors and to your mentors in college is really important so that you get your goals achieved.
I definitely think that big switch up from high school to college made me realize that you're not having teachers, like you're not having 5 different teachers on you the entire time. You're going to be on those 5 teachers. So it's pretty much just reversing itself pretty much. Obviously they're going to be there for you, but you need to approach them to actually do something about it. But with that being said, I think also looking more into the college itself and understanding what is actually going inside there, and just making sure that the college you're going to is best fit for you. Like how you decided that the college that you're attending is good for you. I think other people need to start understanding that too earlier in high school as well, so that they don't just go into a college blindly without actually knowing what opportunities, how the teachers are or professors are, like just how all that is, and to shape up how your experience will be going into college. Because I think high school is honestly a really good opportunity to take advantage
and just start getting ahead.
Get way ahead of college. Like how? Like, did you get ahead? I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
You had a college mentor. I'm sure you did.
I did. So I graduated high school with almost 50 credits in my college degree.
Crazy.
Which, if you don't know, a typical degree, just your basic one major, is 120 credits.
Yeah.
So I'm going into college with almost 2 years of it done.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So I'm not taking advantage of that and graduating early. I'm, adding on other things. Like I'm going to add a minor most likely.
Yeah, so you're going to focus more in on your major instead of just jumping straight ahead. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, again, Anne-Marie was the source of all of that. She taught me how to dual enroll. She taught me how to take really good classes that had AP and ACE credits that my universities accepted. 'Cause that's another big thing, is a lot of universities don't accept all of the credits that you take in AP. So I think, how did you, go about that? What kind of...
I didn't have 50 credits. I had a good amount of credits, though. I was honestly surprised. I had half of that, which I guess is pretty much like pretty much almost a year of college. It was like 26, yeah. But I didn't, I knew that college was important, not college, but taking college credit classes in high school was good for you. But then as now we're in college, obviously, it made me realize that you can save a lot of money going into college itself. Because like you're gonna have to eventually start paying like out of pocket. Like it's not like high school is like free, like free to some extent. Like it's more free than it is college pretty much.
Oh, definitely.
Like you have to earn your way to get to college, and you have to earn it even more to have like a lot of things paid for yourself.
You have to earn it academically, and you have to earn it financially.
Yeah, because for college, it's like you're gonna have to pay for textbooks, and if you take classes in high school, you're not gonna have to worry about paying for textbooks. So you're like in the long run, you're pretty much gonna be saving a lot more money than you think.
You have to pay for the classes too, and you don't have to pay for classes in high school.
That's
at least
that tuition.
Most of them. Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of opportunities to get ahead on that. I think scholarships are huge.
Yeah.
And people just don't take advantage of them. There's different studies that came out with the average of students or college students leaving with $58,000 in debt, which causes financial distress immediately after you graduate, or even before if you get unsubsidized loans.
Yeah, and it's estimated that like close to 100 million in scholarships goes unclaimed each year, and $2 billion in student grants go unclaimed. That's because due to a lack of applicants. With that being said, did you earn any scholarships?
Yeah, I did. So like I graduated with my Bright Futures, which in Florida is like a special governmental scholarship that pays your tuition either 75% or in full. I got an in full coverage.
Yeah.
And then I also from the university was given the honor scholarship.
Yeah.
That one gave me, I think, $14,000. And then my parents had gotten me a Florida prepaid plan when I was born, so that helped me a lot too.
I didn't know you had prepaid. That's crazy.
I did, yeah. I did apply for other ones. I applied for FAFSA.
Yeah.
They only gave me unsubsidized loans, which was terrible because you have to pay, or you have to...
Oh, they had interest?
Yeah, they accrue interest while you're in school.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the point?
It wasn't really worth it at that point?
And then I also applied for three scholarships on bull.org that were like about why'd you choose medicine.
Yeah.
And I didn't get any of them, mainly because I didn't put much time or effort into them.
Yeah.
And there's so many more scholarships on that website and a bunch of other websites, which Anne Marie sent a bunch to me, and I just I didn't pay too much attention to them, and I really wish I did. I mean, what kind of scholarships did you get?
I got Bright Futures too.
Okay, that's amazing.
I got 100%. So definitely having all tuition paid for is really good. I can't lie, because I remember a couple of weeks ago I was having an issue with having my Bright Futures actually being filed into the college, and when I saw how much the tuition was, it was like $2,600 per semester. I didn't realize it was that much money.
Yeah.
And like already being able to already knowing that all that money's gonna be paid for, I don't have to worry about that. Like, oh,
it's such a relief.
It was a big relief.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I had Bright Futures, but I didn't have that many other scholarships either. Like I didn't get any other scholarships from like the college I'm currently attending. Even though I did miss a scholarship with it was NSU, by the way. Like NSU, I missed that scholarship. That was a bummer, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
But besides that, I didn't apply for FAFSA because I wasn't able to. Like I just wasn't able to. And I didn't have prepaid because I think that's just applying for scholarships as well. Honestly, I'll say this, as transparent as possible, I honestly thought I wasn't good enough to get any scholarships, like a lot of scholarships. And like I think that's a feeling that other students have as well. Like for me personally, I just thought like, because I didn't understand that there were different scholarships for different things as well, like academics or like extracurricular activities that you may be participating in. And to me, it was like, what was the point of even trying? And I didn't realize how diverse like scholarships are. And just from what you were talking about, how many scholarships go unclaimed like that, there is another study that the National Scholarship Providers Association, they had actually reported that over the last 10 years, the number of scholarships awarded has increased by over 45%. But there was also there was an increase, or an estimated $100 million in scholarships that still went unrewarded with each year.
And I think that's something that people also don't recognize, is that they're not just for your undergraduate. You can get them for graduate schools like medical school, master's programs, law school.
Yeah.
You can get them for technical degrees. If you're going to, what is that called? Like, I think plumbing has a technical school.
Trade school? You're talking about trade school?
That's what it's called. And they also have scholarships.
Yeah.
And people just don't take advantage of them.
I think also another thing like you have to keep in mind is that you don't have to also apply scholarships in high school. Like honestly, just throughout college, you should also do it as well, because again, it's like it's cash. That's free money that people are
Yeah.
gonna throw at your face just for you to like go to college. And it's like it's gonna help you a lot, especially with again how we're talking about how expensive college is. It's like you have to pay for things like textbooks, other materials, housing, food, transportation if you need to commute. It's like it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I know you're paying a fair price. Like
Oh my gosh.
them scholarships gonna go down.
Yeah, I think it covers most of it, thank gosh.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
I saw the bill because it takes a while for the scholarships to roll over.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you don't have to pay for it as long as the scholarship is paying it on time.
Yeah.
But I saw that number and it was not a pretty number.
How much? Like, give a number. How much the housing per semester?
Per semester, it's almost $5,000. And then I have a mandatory meal plan as well. It's almost $2,000.
Does the food make up for it?
No. I have one dining hall.
Yeah.
It doesn't have an allergy section, and my roommate is not, like, can't eat there because she has allergies. So it's been rough for her. I'm just like, I try to eat healthy, and that is like, I think I've had one meal there that was like, okay, I don't feel terrible after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely a lot of money just getting ripped out of your pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Not just that, but you have to pay for like all the stuff that goes into your dorm.
Yeah.
Like you get a desk, you get
Oh, you have to pay for all that. I forgot. You have to pay for
well, you
everything you
don't
have to move in.
yeah,
No?
so you
Or not for the
don't-
desk, but
not for
like
the desk,
other things.
not for the bed, and not for
Yeah.
the bed frame. And I got as well a like a drawer set almost.
Yeah.
Everything else though, like a fridge, microwave, sheets, memory foam, covers, hangers.
You need that good sleep, don't you?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, those beds are really rough without that memory foam.
It's like a rock.
Yeah. So it's definitely a lot going out of your pocket.
But yeah, so definitely having those scholarships, like it helped you a lot. Like like just
Financially helps a lot.
exactly. But again, it's like people should start taking advantage of just the opportunity of having scholarships. And it's like if you may ask where you might find these scholarships, the college that you're probably going to be attending, like wherever you attend, they're going to have a website actually to give you access to all the scholarships that they had in the university themselves, but also external scholarships as well that can also help with you. Like, but why do people not actually end up doing anything and just apply? So again, continuing on with the article that we were just talking about, the process of applying can be intimidating, time-consuming, and is often filled with rejection, says Berkeley. She would advise would-be applicants to ease into the experience, stay organized, and try to get feedback on their rejected applications so they can submit stronger applications in the future. So my biggest thing is that I think I should have been more confident with who I am as a person, and I think other people should also have that same mindset because you need that experience and just getting out of that comfort zone so that you can start just getting more used to it. And it's like you don't have to immediately jump into it and just apply to like 10 different scholarships in one day. Like ease your time into it. Like wouldn't you say that? Ease your time more into it and just like a little bit by bit, like bit by bit every day so that you can get more used to it.
That's another big thing that Anne-Marie taught me was you can't eat an elephant in one bite. You have to take little bites at one piece is how the exact analogy that she gave me. And I use that to this day. You know, I don't do all my homework the night before. I do it gradually, one piece at a bit.
Yeah, that's what I did in high school.
Yeah, that's not what you did in high school.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that in high school. But yeah, I think definitely having that approach going into anything is definitely gonna help a lot because a lot of students are having struggles with how much they have to actually pay for college.
Yeah.
Like there's actually like a survey that was done by a bunch of students in the United States saying that challenges of freshmen that they were having was college expenses and managing money. 4% of those that were actually surveyed had trouble having to like with those college expenses, and then 10% also had trouble dealing with the managing money. For me, I'm personally living I'm not living on campus because the college is like 20 minutes away from my house, so it's like what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm not about to waste like over
$5,000
like she is, but she's doing it for a good purpose as well.
I live far away from the campus.
Yeah, so it makes more sense for her. But with that being said, of course, I still have to earn money because it's like I'm gonna have to pay for the textbooks, for whatever else I have to pay for as well as commuting as well if I need to. And so for me, it's like I don't have to worry about as much as money due to my situation, which I'm thankful for. But I also just have to keep in mind that a lot of the money that is gonna be coming out of my pocket. So you have to be aware And I think people should start taking more consideration and just be more conscious about their money and not
Definitely.
just free spend their money, because I had that problem actually going into senior year, and I spent a lot of money, and a lot of the money was literally just food and just going out to eat.
Yeah.
And you're going to realize that now, I think is a good way to think about it, and just invest that money into things that are more important than just short-term things that you're going to think about it. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with hanging out with people every now and then, but in the long run, you're going to want to use that money for a good cause.
Definitely.
And not just for a fun, short-lived cause.
Yeah. Once you finish high school and you have to start that new college lifestyle, there's a big transition curve that you have to go through, I think. And college data, the same survey, said that students who attended orientation said that this helped, or 24% said that this helped them the most.
Yeah.
Then holding a part-time job at 17%, a full-time job at 11%, and a summer class also at 11% all helped that transition from high school to college.
Yeah. I definitely think that that taking that preparation during summer is going to help you a lot, and then ease your way into actually getting into college. Because once you get into college,
that first week is hard.
Especially if you don't prepare properly. I'm talking like 100%. Like you have to be 100% ready to go as soon as you go into college, because if you're not, you're gonna have to catch up, and just like you're gonna struggle a little bit. Like I struggled a little bit having to go into it, but after all that preparation, what was your first week like?
Yeah, I felt like it was just busy.
Yeah.
I never stopped. I was always doing something, whether it be homework, looking for my textbooks, reaching out to my professors, finding where my classes are, all of that. It was super nerve-wracking as well, because it was just like so many new things all at once, and I didn't have my parents to protect me from the real world. That real world being laundry and cooking. So it was definitely very intimidating at first, but it definitely eased out, and I had a good time.
That's good.
What about you?
I felt like I was all over the place. I can't lie. Like all over the place, and because literally the night before I had got all the classes that I needed.
Yes.
Because the thing is, I actually had the classes all the way back in June, but my advisor and I actually had miscommunication. That's another thing, is to make sure that you communicate everything with your advisor and whoever else that's guiding you throughout college, to make sure that they have a clear understanding of what you want, because that's really important.
Yeah.
And I barely scraped by, and so I think that's something that people should be more aware of. But with that in mind, I was all over the place, and honestly, I felt I was so zoned in, and I was just on autopilot the entire time, and I was just thinking about everything that I need to get done, because I still need to get my supplies or my materials for the college, and just organizing how the classes are going to be structured and when I need to study and do homework, and just all of that. And it made me really understand that I was underprepared.
Yeah.
I think just going into college, which I think for the first week is okay. And I'm glad I was able to realize that and take it in. And
especially this early on.
This early on, especially too, because I don't want to have to make that same mistake going into the next semester. But with that being said, I was excited to go into it, and it was honestly really nervous. I can't lie. My heart was pumping when I went into my first class. My first class was psychology, but my teacher's good, so he definitely helped me ease into that. But as soon as that finished, I definitely realized that it's more flexible compared to high school, and you have so much more leeway.
Definitely.
So it's like that first week experience. I think the best way to go through it is just be prepared like way before, and just before, like honestly a week before college even starts, so that you can go into it and just experience it, because obviously we experience it, but
experience it in a peaceful way.
And a way that doesn't make you stress and doesn't cause stress. Because again, you're not gonna have the same people around you. Like obviously, like how you said, you don't have your parents around you. Like, but even then, a lot of the friends that you had in high school, you might not have in college as well. And I think that's another big thing that you have to keep in mind as well, is just the social aspect of it, and if there are people that are actually having challenges with it.
Yeah, I am really lucky. My roommates are the sweetest girls ever, and that really helped ease my way into living on campus, living in the dorm, all that kind of stuff, because being far away from home is not something easy. But having people there with you who are going through the same thing or something similar is really helpful. As well as knowing, like I know one of my roommates is going to the same 2 classes as me. I think we have 2 classes together, and that's really helpful because we reach out to each other. I've also made a lot of acquaintances, just not people I really hang out with, like I hang out with my roommates, but just people I know by name and can talk to, and I think that's really helpful. And living on campus really does make that kind of difference. I think that it's just a support system around you that kind of helps push you to be better. What's the experience like for you?
For me, honestly, I mean, this first week, I honestly just spent a lot of it by myself because it's like I didn't have time to talk to new people or different people, because it's like I need to make sure that I was up to date with college and stuff. But I did actually end up meeting up back with one of my old friends, or not even old, like this was like a couple months ago. Just one of my friends from high school, and so it was nice seeing him again. But besides that, it's like I've just really been alone, and it's like I'm not bothered by that, but I'm just more so just I'm just thinking about myself and just making sure that I'm okay with everything before I can eventually reach on to that and just start connecting to new people in that sense. Because again, I don't live on campus like you do. I'm off campus, so it's like whether you like it or not, I'm gonna make
new friends.
You're gonna make new friends with the people around you, such as the people in your dorm or things like that. But for me, it's like I don't have that constant everyday interactions with them. So I think for me, it's gonna be more difficult for me in that sense. But I'm sure as time passes by and we start joining organizations and clubs like that, I think it's gonna be more easier for me in that sense. But I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm just excited, honestly, still. But other people are having that challenge as well. So the same article by, what was it?
College Data?
By College Data actually found that 5% of people 5% of freshmen had trouble meeting new people. 5.5% had troubles with their living with roommates. Another 8.5% had struggled with living away from home. So living away from home, you're living away from home. How was that? I'm sure that was.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was definitely a very difficult transition. I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't want to leave Gabe. I didn't want to leave the life I had here. But I did it, and I'm happy I did it. It was.
How was it? Like from the moment that you knew, and then right before college started, and then like throughout the first week.
I think before I was a little bit in denial that I was leaving. I didn't really shop for my dorm as much as I wish I did. And I think that I just kind of like the week before I was like, oh my gosh, I'm moving out. Like, I'm not ready. Like, oh my gosh. And then I moved out, and it was a little uncomfortable at first. And then I got really close with my roommates, and I'm okay. And like, it's okay. But I know a lot of people are not as comfortable. I'm not that far from my house. I'm like maybe a little bit less than an hour away. And I can only imagine how terrifying it must be for people to move out and being homesick, especially when you're further. It's got to be like 10 times worse. It must be terrifying.
A survey actually did show that, speaking of which. It showed that 27% had actually never, of course, felt homesick.
Well, that's because they had all the stuff to go out to.
44% had experienced it probably 1 to 3 times. 18% occasionally felt that, and then the 11%, that was like a constant almost everyday thing. Where do you think you were?
I would say.
You're definitely not the bottom.
No, you're definitely
not the bottom.
I would say occasionally.
Occasionally?
Yeah, when I'm there, I'm like so focused on my work, I don't even think about it. But when I'm home, I'm like, I don't want to go back. But then I'm like, oh wait, I want to go back. Like, I want to see my roommates. I'm like, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, the Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences actually had done research and just a study and trying to figure out what really caused homesick and how it affected people. And it said that homesickness affects 90 to 70% of students, with 94% reporting at least some level during their first term of college. With it being it would typically decrease over time, but they had seen that it significantly impacts overall social adjustment, and even when controlling for negative emotions. Did you have trouble with that, like being able to control negative emotions or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it was in the beginning it was hard to
grasp idea.
Everything.
I mean, it was a lot for you because, again, it's like it happens like that. It's not like a easing into it, because like the week before college started, you went into your dorm, and then it's not like you're going 2 months before and then just visiting occasionally. You're just going straight into it.
Yeah.
Like you're just being thrown into the fire pretty much. But with that, the study went on and said that although homesickness doesn't seem to harm relationships outside of college or interfere with academic performance, it does impact new social connections and can slightly lower academic satisfaction and GPA if it subsides too quickly.
Yeah, and it also stated that research indicates that intervention aimed at preventing homesickness before college could be beneficial. However, the study's reliance on a single item measure and lack of exploration into individuals' differences and procedures of homesickness trajectories suggests that future research should focus on understanding these dynamics to improve interventions for persistent homesickness.
So yeah, honestly, I think once people are starting. I think once people, and I'm cutting it out. Once people start actually preparing themselves internally that they're ready to move on from life at home to going into college, because I'm sure there are people that are already going into college and just partying as soon as they get out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But for the other people who are having trouble with that and they just really want to hone in and making sure that they're okay with having that happen, I think that's when people can start making goals and expectations for themselves as to how they should handle college, because again, from freshman year up until senior year, a lot can happen in between, and so it's something that you definitely keep track in mind of who you are as a person.
What kind of expectations did you make after that first week of college?
I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me the most was that it's going to take time for me to adjust academically and socially, especially since I'm taking a much different approach going into freshman year of college than I did going into freshman year of high school.
Definitely.
And that's something that I think I know is going to come out for me, and it's gonna keep, it's like a bug around you, flying around. Like it's gonna keep reminding me, like I'm just gonna keep reminding myself pretty much that I'm gonna be able to get through it. Another thing is also time management. I think time management is something that I'm gonna expect to improve on, and then just also to be pushed out of my comfort zone as well.
Definitely.
That's something honestly I've already been doing a lot more in my first week of college without even like thinking about it. I mean, obviously I thought about it because I gotta be like, teacher, I gotta make sure I'm doing it. But it's something that I'm doing more than I did in high school. Also, I expect to manage my money way more, especially since there are going to be certain things that we're going to have to pay for regardless, like no matter what. So I'm mentally prepared for that, I think is the best way to say it. And just staying in touch with my counselor, my advisor, and my professors as well is something that I expect more from. Joining clubs and organizations too.
Yeah.
So I think it was the first Saturday. It's a Saturday going into
before
going
started,
into college. It was pretty much just to get to know like what clubs and organizations that they have to offer, and that sort of gave me an idea of what I'd be interested in doing and just pretty much just benefiting me.
I mean, you pretty much covered all the bases. I think the ones I kind of expecting to do would be to create that bond with my professors. Yeah. And then also to just be super stressed. I already know it's
You expect
happen.
To be stressed?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I could see what classes I'm taking. I'm taking Calc 2. Of course I'm going to be stressed.
Hey, intro stats.
Yeah, I'm very I'm nervous about the academics a little bit. I mean, I have self-confidence in my knowledge, but I'm not the only one. A lot of people as well also go through that reality shock of studying. More than 17% from, again, that same survey from College Data stated that they were nervous about the studying required for their classes. And then they also said that the level of rigor, 7% of them said that concerned them, which I think is very understandable. It's a big change from high school to college.
It's like if you're not used to taking that type of, I guess, pretty much just having college level classes in high school and then going into it, it's much more fast paced, and it's like they're not going to be waiting for you. I think that's something that you have to pretty much just brace yourself for. And if you're having trouble with it, that's something that you'd have to talk to with your support system again. Yeah.
And it's a common thing for people not to have experience too. I know many girls or many people in my classes that, like, for example, my chemistry class, I took AP chemistry and I took regular, like, chem honors in high school. And some people have only taken, like, one introduction to chemistry class in high school. I think,
but also, like, if you say AP chem and also just chem, it's also the amount of work that you get into
Yeah.
that. So another 5% actually, they were concerned about the amount of workload that they're given, and then also studying for the exams with the workload, and also the class size. Actually, interestingly enough, with 9% saying that the class size was either too large, and 7% saying the class size was actually too small. So it's definitely I think a lot of these problems that people are having is, I think you're just gonna have to experience it no matter what, and you just have to take it in as it happens. But I think once you take that in, I think for the following semester, I think you can better prepare for that and just start to understand what works best for you, just to get a better idea of it. Especially since more than 17% were surprised by just how much study load had actually succeeded. One person said that they found that it's impossible to study in college without studying with an intensive amount. Another one actually said that they had taken all online classes, but they were still surprised with the amount of studying that they had to do.
And I think that expectations only get you so far. Goals are really what makes a difference, and that is scientifically proven as well. There's just some different excerpts from a study done at the University of Rome in Italy and the University of Toronto in Canada in 2019. They stated specific goals increase task force, the use of an appropriate strategy for goal attainment, and the goals facilitate self-monitoring. They also said short-term goals setting increases the ability to focus attention on the goal attainment and self-monitoring, enabling students to evaluate their plan to improve their performance. This process of setting and attaining daily goals should lead to a higher final course grade.
I think expectations and goals can go sort of hand in hand.
Definitely.
But also, I think in order to make sure that you actually do something about it with those goals and expecting what you're going to get out of it is also just habits that you start to build. Again, what we were talking about earlier, just about habits, just making sure that you're checking emails, making sure you know what's going on in each class, and just holding yourself accountable and making sure that how you manage your time and what you prioritize and what's actually urgent and what's not important. If hanging out with your friends, if that's something if it's not something you find out the day of course it's urgent because you need to find an answer to make sure that you're actually going to do it or not. But if you have homework that's due the following day, like an essay that you have to write, I'm pretty sure
you should be taking care of that essay.
Yeah, you gotta take care of that essay. Start writing. You should start typing down.
Yeah.
But I think to think more about that, that's gonna help carve yourself and just really get into it and make sure that you're actually hitting those goals. But what are your goals actually for this semester?
I have quite a few. I obviously, with moving in, learning and integrating into the balance of adulthood is super important. And again, that same survey said that a big percentage of kids, 17%, found that school and life balance is the thing that they were least prepared for. So going hand in hand with that, I want to create a routine that's effective and prepares me for my college classes. And then different, strategies for studying. So going to office hours. I also want to create a 4-year plan to see what classes I need to take to get all of the things that I need done, as well as internships and all that kind of stuff. And I want to do that this semester, so I already know. I also want to get a 4.0 this semester. I don't know if I can do it, but I can try my very best. And then just joining different extracurriculars to start getting my foot in the door for internships and all that kind of stuff. So maybe just starting out with volunteering or just a couple clubs here and there.
Yeah, for me, it's also the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. I can't lie. It's pretty much the same thing. I want to make sure I develop a routine that works best for me and something that I can I'm more consistent with, so that I don't just back off. You get what I'm saying? Where it's something pops up and then it just everything falls apart. It's I want to make sure that each day I'm going into it knowing that what I'm doing, knowing that I'm doing this because it's the next step that I have to take. But also I want to develop a good study habits, and obviously I think going to office hours, emailing professors, but even colleges go as far as offering free tutoring sessions, and learning centers as well.
And they do essay reviews as well, I think.
Essay reviews as well. And just even if you go during office hours, if for an English class, you can just go in and just talk to your professor about it, and they're more than willing to help you out with that. So I think that's something that more people should take advantage of, even in high school actually.
Yeah.
Even in high school as well, because I think that is what can make a difference from a B to an A or a C to a B if you really need to. Just having that awareness is definitely going to bring yourself up, especially if you're looking to go into college. But again, I also want A's.
Yeah.
I don't.
No B's.
Yeah, no B's. But also just to learn a little bit more about the careers that I'm interested in, and also join student clubs and organizations that are to my benefit in the long run. Other goals is improving my planning skills as well.
Yeah.
Because I think the first week I had an idea of how to go about it, but it wasn't set in stone because I had to go back and catch up on everything that I had missed. And so I was eventually able to catch up again. And now I'm pretty much already planning for this week already. And so like I already know what homework is due and what assignments that I have to read, or books, like what chapters I have to read. And so already having that in mind, it keeps you more in a zen state, and just you don't have to worry about like a lot of things.
And there's like definitely a lot of strategies to do that too. I mean, I'm kind of like very over planning, I think, and I have 3 different ways to track all my.
See, but the thing is, like that's better than having
nothing.
That's better than having nothing or just one thing, because it's like if you're able to constantly, if you're able to have something that constantly reminds you that you have something to do, it's like eventually it's gonna get ingrained in you, and you're just gonna it's gonna be normal, so you don't have to stress about it all the time. Another thing, we're talking about office hours, professors.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to make good connections with professors because, again, they open good doors for opportunities, like you said earlier, actually. But just having a good relationship, because then they can write letters of recommendations for you if you want to go to graduate school. That's something that is really good to happen. Because, like, aspects that college students are actually least prepared for, we had actually breaking it down earlier, but if we're talking more broadly, what students were actually least prepared for, in the same survey, from collegedata.com, it said that 49% were least prepared for academics, 14% were least prepared for financial what?
Decisions, I guess.
Yeah.
Not decisions, like how they handle the finances.
Yeah, and then 19% had issues with, or had social issues, and 70% had issues with life balance. And I honestly think that the summer is really a good opportunity for you to
learn how to do that.
Learn how to just cope with everything and manage it. Yeah, because studies have shown that many students have trouble acclimating to the pace and rigor of college level work, as we said previously. And actually, in a 2021 survey of college freshmen by the Higher Education Research Institute at UCLA, almost 50% of the students polled said they had some difficulty adjusting to the academic demands of college. And almost 30% found it very or somewhat difficult to understand what their professors expected of them academically. Honestly, I kind of had trouble with that as well my first week. Like, I was a little confused with some of the assignments that they were giving us, especially because they kind of just threw it in our faces. But I think you can't shy away from that, and you have to be able to. You have to be able to speak up and make sure that you actually do something about it instead of just saying it. Because people are having trouble with college, and unfortunately, for some of them, it's a little more difficult, and they're a little dissatisfied with what's going on. So, disappointment. We don't want that our freshman year, do we?
No, and neither do our viewers.
Yeah, so with that, we actually, of course, recorded this entire video for that. So we actually compiled a list of research talking about tips and advice that could actually help us and also benefit you if you're interested in that, if you're planning on going to college, or just to freshen up and just bring more awareness to it. So it's going to be, of course, research, but also our own personal advice that we can have to offer. So from college data, which we've been talking about a lot, here's what students actually have to say about it. So this is coming straight from students. Students have said that knowing their roommate and willingly join clubs helps them. Their college first-gen support team or system where they met monthly and attended events together, it helped them feel less alienated from their peers. Being close with their RA, what's an RA, by the way?
It's like the person who's in charge of your floor in your residence hall.
So in the dorm, yeah. Okay. Also, keeping a routine helped them get used to a lot of free time. Understanding that not everyone needs to have friends all the time to have a good life in college. Going to floor events and meeting people. Going back to not having friends all the time. I think pre-med students are like just med students.
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough, but they got it. You got that.
Yeah.
going to floor events and meeting people. Going to the mental health center and talking about my feelings. Joining a fraternity. Be mindful of joining a fraternity.
Yeah, don't get hazed.
Don't get hazed. Hazing is a thing. A fraternity or sorority, okay?
Yeah.
So, if it's to your benefit, great. If that's the experience you want to have, great. But watch out.
Yeah, don't let them haze you, because that is not a safe thing. People, like, it's gotten dark there. It's
dangerous. But other things that they've actually benefited from is making friends and getting involved, of course, communicating with friends and family back home. And also, honestly, the biggest thing really is just making space for themselves and having things that reminded them of home. And just to give it some time. Because again, this is college.
It's a big change.
It's a big change, and it's a whole new world. So it's a lot to process, and just to really get through it.
Yep. And then students also from the same survey rated different services that the school offered. So tutoring and academic support services helped 23%. 14% were helped by the professor's office hours. 14% were helped by study groups, and 11% were helped by mental health services.
Yeah. And what students actually most use, they reported that 42% of them actually use the tutoring and academic support services. Again, this will make a difference in academics, like in grades in general. This will help a lot. 37% had also done study groups. This is also good. 37% also went to professors' office hours. Financial aid office with 35%. So this is pretty much the most used that students had actually indicated. And with that, we can go a little bit more into scholarships and what you can actually do in order to make sure that you're applying for scholarships and which is what best fits you.
Yeah. So scholarship search, I think it usually begins with narrowing down what are your interests, what's your major, all that kind of stuff, and what you'll be eligible for.
So instead of just focusing on like what's broadly available and what's right in front of your face, I think you can definitely narrow down, like how you were saying before.
Yeah, find a niche.
Just what's niche and what makes sense to you, and just make sure that you speak to them with who they are, and that there's less competition for that money. And then also students can start applying for scholarships anytime. There are rolling due dates throughout the year. The earlier they apply, the higher likelihood of getting in front of the selection panels. But pursuing scholarships and fellowships are important because scholarships, of course, are free money and that they should be sought out before loans.
Yes.
And just to make sure that you have money to pay for college. And a big thing also is to look into your employer's tuition assistance or learning and development programs. Many companies are now offering at least partial tuition assistance or training opportunities for their workforce. So I actually work, of course, because I need money. And what they actually offer after you work there for I think a couple months or maybe even a year, you can actually get tuition reimbursement, and that actually pay for you to go to college. So you pretty much have to work a minimum amount of hours, but if you do that, you can pretty much get a lot of your college paid for.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
And then another no-brainer is the FAFSA. It's no-brainer for graduate students, for undergraduate students, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The NSPA estimates that during the 2018 and 2019 school year, around $2.6 billion in Pell Grants were left unclaimed.
Yeah, so that's something that, again, just to give you an idea of how many opportunities there are to get scholarships. So don't fret. Literally don't fret. And speaking of which, once you have that money to actually figure out what you're going to need to do, you should definitely calculate how much of that money you're actually going to be using. So I think that's another thing to realize is that you should be using a net price calculator. So I'm pretty sure all colleges have it under their website just for you to get an idea of it. And so a net price calculator compares tuition costs and other fees of schools that you're interested in. Right. So pretty much there is a significant difference between the school's sticker price and your net price.
Yes.
So the school will give you pretty much an estimated of how much you're going to have to spend. But for you, it may be different for how much I spend. So pretty much for you, since you live on campus, you're spending a totally different amount of money that I'm spending.
Right.
Like you're spending a lot on housing, and that's not something I have to be worrying about. Yes. But on the other hand, you have scholarships to pay for textbooks,
and some people don't.
Like me. So that's coming out of my money. So again, having that already awareness before going into college is something that you can just prepare for during the summer. So if you have to work, apply for scholarships, and hopefully get scholarships. FAFSA, this is something that is going to really just help you in the long run, and you don't have to worry about it as much. So what's the sticker price pretty much?
So sticker price is just how much the school will tell you on average students are spending.
Yeah.
And it can be a lot higher, a lot lower. Most people are not paying the sticker price because they're getting aid. And if you don't go looking for that aid, you might get the sticker price.
Yeah. But for net price, so that's the number that you actually pay once scholarships, grants, and financial aid are factored in. And the difference between net price and sticker price is most notable at private universities. Yeah,
just because private universities are a lot of money.
Yeah, it was an $80K scholarship, but the
school itself,
the university itself was so expensive. I definitely could have negotiated it, but that was difficult. Oh, again, that's another thing. You can negotiate.
Yeah, you can negotiate your scholarships
hard if you're able to. So yeah. But if you're not able to get scholarships, grants, there are other options as well, right? But if you're not able to get scholarships or financial aid, or not financial, pretty much scholarships, financial aid, There are other options like what?
So research loan options, they're not just offered from the federal government, they're also offered
Privately.
different private loans, and you just need to go searching out for them.
That's something that you should be
Cautious of.
more cautious of because
They have interesting interest rates.
yeah,
That's
so
a good way to describe
and that's
it.
something that can accumulate over time, and you're gonna end up having to pay more money than you actually had like originally got, pretty much. Yeah, but with that being said, personal advice from us, like what we could advise about if you're still in high school or you're just going into college, your first semester, anything like that, is again just figure out your financial situation and needs. Use a net calculator. Apply to scholarships. FAFSA every year because FAFSA it's a once a year thing, and just loans if needed, of course. But again, steering away from scholarships and things like that. What comes down to you as a person, the biggest thing is to develop a routine that works best for you. College is something that's so much more flexible, and it's not as rigid as high school, so you have much more leeway with what you do. So, but what's most important is that the time that you have, you spend good.
Yes.
And that, because again, the greater power, the greater responsibility.
Yeah.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
There we go. I got the Spider-Man quote. All right. But again, developing a routine that works for you is something that's important. Also, developing good study habits as soon as possible.
Definitely.
That's something that you should like already have down so that you don't have to worry about it. And just planning ahead as well. Maintaining good health as well. So just having these habits such as studying and maintaining health is really just going to help you in the long run. Yeah.
And I think I would say plan ahead. Like I mentioned earlier, find what works best for you, but I have 3 different ways. So I have a planner, a written planner. I have an Excel sheet that has like different due dates and all that kind of stuff that I have to do. And then I have a physical and an online calendar. I have one that me and my roommates share in the center of our dorm. We put all of our like important events on that calendar. Organize your files early on. And then don't be afraid to ask questions. I would reach out to your TAs, your professors during their office hours.
Yeah.
I reached out to my professor for calculus already. And it's been maybe like a week.
Yeah.
Not even. I think it had been like 3 days since school had started that I reached out to him, and he helped me a lot with a couple questions I had about calculus.
That's another thing too. Not about professors, but academic advisors. They have a lot of emails to check through, especially since it's because college is like there's so many people going to college. So definitely don't take too long to pretty much just like ask and
Your
just
questions,
figure out what's going on because time is going to pass by quick and they still haven't responded. You're going to want to have to do something about it. And again, you have other people that you can rely on too as well. Like if you just contact the school directly, you can email the advising services and just pretty much just get different answers for what works best for you. But with that being said, of course, stay in touch with your faculty, including counselors, and just make sure that they can have you answer general questions. But with that being said, join clubs. Join clubs that you find really interested. So if you join some club in like high school, obviously you can probably transfer that over to college if they offer it, because that's something that's going to help you in the long run eventually, because maybe you're able to get a leadership program.
Yeah.
And that's something that sticks out.
Like different connections and network as well in there.
Exactly.
Speaking of networking, network with your professors, network with your TAs. They can write you letters of recommendation for jobs and for graduate school, which is really important when you're getting into the real world. And then
I think the best thing to say is to take your time.
Yeah.
But manage your time. And also to take action.
Yeah.
Take action because you're gonna end up seeking help one way or another, whether you like it or not, from anyone. Whether it's your roommate, your parent, teacher, whoever. And if you think about something that you need to do, you should definitely do it. Because again, I cannot stress enough how like good it is to just immediately take initiative, because I'm sure there's some things that you wish you did immediately.
Yeah.
There's some things that I also wish I did immediately. And it's just gonna help you progress so much further. And honestly, I think the best way to approach college is don't think of it as something as tedious and as stressful. Think of it as a good way to learn about who you are as a person, because I think that's something I actually figured out myself as applying to college. And don't be afraid, because if you do decide on going to college, you want to make sure that you're able to approach it the best way possible. And again, you have people around you who are able to help you. I had you around me as well, so don't think of it as you have to do it alone, but more so just it'll be fine, and that there's nothing that you have to worry about pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening or watching or however we're gonna upload this eventually.
Yes.
But again, our next episode will be coming out in 2 weeks.
September 8th.
September 8th, and that will be that's not gonna be like this. It'll be a
little bit more scientific.
A little bit more scientific and research heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, research heavy.
Yeah.
But I think we're also gonna make it more conversational based as we did like this, because I think between us two this was pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, thank you for listening, and we're actually gonna upload another video about this in the midway or halfway through the semester, just talking about how we've done so far, and then we're gonna upload another one
at the end of the semester.
Towards the end of the semester, and what we think about it from there. But yeah, until next time, let's talk med.